Illinois is recognized.
I want to thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of S. 535, the Energy Efficiency Improvement Act of 2015. And I want to join with my colleague, Mr. Welch, in congratulating all the leadership, Mr. Whitfield and Mr. Welch. I want to congratulate Mr. Pallone and also I want to congratulate the chairman, full chairman of the subcommittee, of the full committee. Mr. Speaker, this is a modest, but most importantly, it's a bipartisan piece of legislation that combines three separate energy efficiency titles. And this bill was passed by unanimous consent out of the Senate just this last month. The bill before us today is also similar to a bill, H.R. 2126, which passed out of this House in the last session of the Congress on an overwhelming bipartisan vote of 375 to 36. The first title of this bill, Madam Speaker, is the Better Buildings Act, which was introduced into the Congress by my friends and my colleagues, Mr. McKinley of West Virginia, and again, Mr. Welch of Vermont. This title simply directs the General Services Administration to develop model leasing provisions and best practices to encourage commercial building owners and their tenants to invest in cost-effective energy efficiency measures. These model leasing provisions may then be used in federal leases and, along with the best practices, Madam Speaker, shall be made available to all the state and all the local governments. Additionally, Section 103 directs the Department of Energy to conduct a study on the feasibility of significantly improving energy efficiency in commercial buildings through the design and the construction of separate tenant spaces with high performance energy efficiency measures. Section 104 directs the EPA to develop a, quote, tenant star, in a quote, program with the Energy Star program to promote energy efficiency in separate spaces leased by tenants in commercial buildings. This data can then be used to establish an Energy Star rating system to recognize in commercial buildings recognize tenants in commercial buildings that voluntarily achieve high levels of energy efficiency in separate spaces. Madam Speaker, Title II of this bill, the Grid-Enabled Water Heaters Bill, was introduced by my colleague and my good friend, Chairman Whitfield, along with Mr. Welch, Mr. Lotta, Mr. Leesmack, Mr. Kramer, and Mr. Doyle. This section establishes a separate energy efficiency standard for grid-enabled water heaters, which are used in utility demand and thermal storage programs. Finally, Madam Speaker, Title III of this bill, the Energy Information for Commercial Buildings Bill, which was introduced into the Congress by my friend and colleague, Ms. Castor of Florida, requires federal leased buildings without Energy Star labels to benchmark and disclose their energy usage data in most cases. It also requires the Department of Energy to complete a study of best practices for and impacts of 1. State and local performance benchmarking and disclosure policies for commercial and multi-family buildings, and 2. Utility policies for providing aggregated information to owners of multi-tenant buildings to assist with benchmarking programs. In addition, Madam Speaker, the DOE is required to maintain a database to store and make available public energy-related information on commercial and multi-family buildings. Madam Speaker, in recent history, we have not been able to pass bipartisan energy legislation through both chambers and into law. So it's important that we move this bill to the President's desk so that we can demonstrate once again to the American people that this Congress is still capable of functioning properly and legislating on their behalf. Madam Speaker, I urge all my colleagues to vote for this bill, and I yield back the balance of mine.
The gentleman from Vermont reserves. The gentleman from Kentucky is